You want the freedom, fun, and extra income that comes with being a content creator. But you've got a full-time job and you can't walk away from that. The good news is you don't have to. Two of my students, Phil and Dee Dee, have built part-time creator businesses while keeping their careers. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to be an over 40 content creator with a full-time job. You'll learn how to find time to create incredible content, the strategies that will help you avoid burnout, and the secret tip that'll help your creator skills and bank account grow faster. I'm Robbie, a 52-year-old full-time UGC creator and a coach for creators over 40. Balancing two roles isn't easy, but these strategies make it possible. Think of it as bosom buddies without the cross-dressing, most of the time. Before we dive into strategies, I wanna clear something up. You've probably heard of content creators as people that need huge audiences. So you'll find what I do to be really different. While you found me here on YouTube, it is not my primary source of income. I don't use AdSense, I'm not monetized, and I don't have sponsorship deals yet. Also, I'm not an influencer. And if you don't know how influencers work, what they do is they build a huge audience and then reach out to get their products in front of their huge audiences. That's how they make money. Instead, I do something called UGC, user-generated content. These are videos that I make for brands who post them on their social media pages or as ads, which you've likely seen on Instagram or TikTok. You don't need prior experience or followers. You just need the ability to make a great video. I do this full-time, but many people do it part-time. A lot of my students do UGC on the side of their 9-to-5 careers. And you can do this whenever you want, nights, weekends, as long as you deliver the video to the brand by the agreed upon delivery date, you can make your videos whenever you have time. It's the best way to make money on your schedule. And as somebody over 40, you know that your time isn't always yours. This is a great way to be creative and get paid when you have time. So let's say you want to make extra money making videos, but you know that you only have a few limited hours during the week to get that done. How do you avoid the biggest hurdle that comes with balancing two jobs? Burnout. So there are two big problems when starting a side hustle. And the first one is you do it too much. And I was guilty of this. When I started UGC, I was working, 50, 60 hours a week. The other problem with a side hustle is that if you don't put enough effort into it, the motivation disappears. I have a closet full of stuff that I've been meaning to put on eBay for at least a year. The solution I found was being intentional about what I was doing. For me, for UGC, I put a limit to the amount of videos I was doing, and I didn't take videos that were under a certain amount of money. For you, that may look like I'm gonna make 3 videos this week, or I wanna make $3,000 this month. Having goals is essential when you have 2 jobs, and you need to put limits on yourself. Think of it as respecting your time and energy. Goal setting removes pressure from making content, which in turn makes making content more fun, which makes your content better, which leads to more brand deals. So there's a huge benefit to just stripping back and focusing on knowing your limits so you can make the best content. It's weird how that works. I still struggle with that. So now you've got your goals. How do you find time to make the content? Waiting till you have time pretty much guarantees that you're not going to get around with it. You're tired at nighttime and weekends fill up fast before you know it. This is me and my eBay stuff. Now, if you have a 9-to-5 job, you do have set hours. Maybe you have daily meetings from 11 to 1 or weekly client calls at 2:30 every week. Take that same scheduled mentality with you into your UGC creation time. Look at your days and weeks to see when you could schedule time to make content. For example, you could work between 6 and 7 a.m. writing scripts. You could film the content during lunch between 12 and 1, and edit the videos between 5 and 6. Just 1 or 2 focused blocks per week can help you significantly move the needle to find time to make the content. If you only create when you have time, it's not gonna happen. By scheduling out blocks of time throughout your week, strictly dedicated to UGC content, that will keep you motivated, progressing, and paid. How about that? By the way, one of the best things you can do during your week is read the Creator Later newsletter, full of information on starting, scaling, and growing your UGC creator business. Link in the description below. But as someone over 40, your time is rarely your own. Outside of work, you've got family, friends, kids. How the heck are you going to find time to make videos? For the record, I don't have friends. I go to the gym. Those people are my friends. But yeah, you know. As I mentioned, I burnt out doing UGC when I had started. And you've heard of this thing called the 80-20 rule. And it's where 20% of the work moves your business 80% forward. At that point, I was doing 100% of the work, and it was getting me like, I don't know, 60% there. So I slowed down and I looked at everything I did as a creator. Pitching, writing, filming, editing, posting on social media. Then I looked at like, okay, why is somebody actually hiring me? It's because I'm a good writer, and it's because I'm old. They do not hire me because I'm the world's greatest editor. So for you, write down all of the low value work that you do, as well as the stuff that just sucks up your time. Checking email, commuting, those repetitive pointless meetings. What can you eliminate from your day that would free up time for you to create? Consider doing a time audit, which is just tracking the minutes and the hours that it takes you to do a certain task. Doing that freed me up to do what I love to do, which is writing and filming. By tracking how long tasks actually take, you will uncover pockets of time which you can use for content creation. So now you've done your time audit, but it hasn't uncovered more time. What else can you do that will give you the time that you need to make these videos? Studies show that the average adult watches 2 hours of YouTube or TV per day. And this makes complete sense since we were the generation that got up at 7 a.m. on Saturday and just binge watched cartoons on a massive Lucky Charms sugar high. But now we have constant screen time, and you find yourself on Facebook checking in with that guy that you hated from high school and hearing his unfiltered thoughts about the new Taylor Swift album or something dumb. I deleted Facebook and I just don't look back. There's podcasts, live sports, the news, doom scrolling. Imagine using some of that time to build your future. Think about Netflix not as a distraction, but a reward. If you trade in 3 hours of streaming to do work, you get 1 whole hour of guilt-free Wednesday streaming or Stranger Things, something. For me, my thing is live sports. I work 8 to 4. I don't stop in the middle of the day to stream stuff or see what people are doing on Facebook. Again, don't have it. So by the time the Red Sox come on at 6 o'clock, it is my reward for getting my work done. I'm unwinding, but I've made progress throughout my day. I'm not superhuman. I still get caught up in Instagram, but I'm more aware of how I use my time now. Cut out 2 hours of YouTube or Netflix during your week and use that time and that energy to make content. Let that entertainment become your reward afterwards. So by cutting out time, you've made more videos and money. And you're considering scaling your business so you can make more content and make more money. So how do you keep growing without everything collapsing? So as I mentioned earlier, I realized the things where brands were hiring me before was for my writing and being on camera. And it was this time that I saw other creators online talking about outsourcing. They were paying other people to send pitches to brands and to edit videos. At first, I thought that was really like inauthentic. We're the creator. Shouldn't we be handling this? And then I realized again, it really doesn't matter who's editing or writing the emails. So I adjusted. I hired an editor to do some of my editing for me, and I started taking more deals where they didn't need me to do the editing. When it comes to pitching, I hired a VA team to do a lot of the pitching for me. And when I looked at the numbers, the amount that I was paying for these services was kind of offset by how much more money I was making. Outsourcing isn't about not being involved. It's buying back your time so you can focus on your best work. So if you made it this far, you're probably still trying to figure out how you could possibly pull this off with a full-time job. You may be thinking that you'd be the only person in the history of the world to attempt to make videos like this while working full-time and supporting your family. But that's exactly where Phil, Didi, and Chris started. Phil was buried in his teaching career and felt he had zero bandwidth to do anything new. Didi had a demanding job, wasn't really convinced that editing was gonna be something she'd be able to do. And Chris, he wasn't working 9 to 5. He was a stay-at-home dad with 2 kids. His days were full and was so unsure of how he could possibly find time in his day to do any of this. But here's what ended up happening. Phil got his first UGC deal through Fiverr, which he filmed and edited on the weekend from his job. Dee Dee learned editing, figured out how to pitch to brands, and now makes thousands of dollars on the side while she's still balancing her career and her family. And Chris found small windows of time at night and during that time to make UGC content. And now he's just built this incredible revenue stream that supports him and his family. So no, you're not the only one trying to do this. Phil, Dee Dee, Chris, thousands of older creators out there are finding the time to have their regular career, be present for their family, and find the time to make videos. If you're willing to make the time in your schedule, you can create that extra income that you deserve. And if you want help building that same kind of success, that is exactly what I do in my one-on-one coaching program. I only take 3 clients on at a time, so you get my full undivided attention. If you're interested, click the link below and apply to the program. There's no better feeling than seeing your hard work pay off. Between your 9 to 5 and your UGC work, you should be swimming in cash, like Scrooge McDuck style. However, all of that success can actually take away from the thing that makes you get out of bed in the morning. No, not coffee, but this is important too. When you hear the word hustle, you get this image of somebody hunched over a laptop at 2 a.m. just like willing their entrepreneurial dreams into existence. There's this thought that the only way to achieve success is to empty your tank. The problem with that is when you have an empty tank, you don't move. I am the perfect example. When I try to write a script at 8 p.m., which is like an hour before I go to bed, it is a crappy script. However, when I get a good night's rest and exercise, my writing is so much better in the morning. Who'd have thought? When you work from home, it's hard to shut off and tempting to just like keep going. But yeah, it always just ends up bad. Now I spend my Sundays guilt-free, not working, sitting on the couch with my wife, watching football. I used to be scared of downtime or doing nothing, but now it's a reward for working hard. Exercise, family time, just like doing nothing, they're not luxuries, they're fuel. Protecting your rest time is an essential part of the job. Being a part-time content creator with a full-time job is possible, but the key to it all is managing your time. So watch this video, which will walk you through exactly how to land those sweet brand deals.